I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
What's going on, everybody?
I was gonna come in like singing something that nobody would expect me to be singing, and I decided not to. I was like, screw it.
I'm too sexy for my body. Too sexy for my body.
It was
So
something. Like
I don't know the rest of the song. I just remember like the. Anyways,
ridiculous.
I love it. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's having a good day.
Absolutely.
Dave, what have you been doing today, huh? What's been going on?
I've been babysitting today.
Babysitting?
I did see, yeah.
Oh.
Been babysitting. But I did see today, like, I guess Russia had their, like, hockey all-star game, and Vladimir Putin played in it.
What?
Yeah.
He played in the hockey game.
He's played every year. And guess what? He scored 8 goals.
Huh.
I mean, 8 out of 8.
Yeah.
I'm sure the goalie's not going to block his shots out of fear of being killed or something, but
true.
Hey, Putin, man.
That's pretty awesome.
He can skate, he can kind of slap some sticks.
Small sudden side note, I hear echo coming from your end, my friend.
Echo?
Yeah, I hear me.
How about now?
Hello? And a little bit still.
Still?
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know why.
How about now? It's very small, but whatever. I
don't know why that is.
Different technology. I don't know. Or is it the same?
Let's do this. Hang on.
Oh. Processing. Oh gosh.
Stop that.
Nope. Don't want to stop it.
How about now? Can you hear it?
Hello.
Yeah,
I don't know. This is weird. It's never done it before.
Is it better now?
Hello. Yes. Can't hear me at all.
Good.
That's the way I like it.
I'm turning you up on my end then.
You know, it's one of those, like, when you hear your voice, like, when you hear your real voice being repeated back to you, it just, And then the voice that you hear yourself speaking from.
Oh, God, I hate that, dude. Like, whenever I do, like, other podcasts, like, if I'm a guest or something and they don't have their audio set right, or if I'm talking on the phone to somebody, I have to hang up on it.
Yeah.
Like, fix it. Click.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to hear that. Done. Nope. Not today.
It throws me off.
Dude, it really does. Well, I guess a side note, another world news today. I got to say that I stand with Israel with everything that's going on right now, and I hope things go okay, and I send prayers, and it's pretty crazy mess over there right now. Basically getting attacked on two fronts. They've got a civil war where a city has pretty much been taken over, a town called Lod. It's been taken over by Palestinians, and I think it's Palestinians. I'm not sure.
I thought it was Hamas.
Well, Hamas is shooting them. That's the two things going on here. You got a civil war going on.
I thought Hamas took that area.
Yeah, I think the people are Palestinians.
Okay, I have no idea. I don't.
Yeah, it's okay. No, they basically took over a whole city, and they've had to send military in to do that while getting attacked by another front. So
fun.
Yeah, Tel Aviv is just getting hammered. I'm sure they're going to retaliate because that's what they do. That's what happens.
That's what happens in war.
Yeah, it's not good for any parties, but yeah.
Speaking of battlefronts, I'm going to put this out there for everyone. I need to upload this picture real quick so you guys know what I'm throwing out there, right? So I can pitch it. You guys can catch it.
Can pick up what you're laying down.
Yeah, I like yours better because it doesn't sound so pervy. Doesn't sound so pervy.
These items are not used to prevent catching HIV or whatever. Nope.
Oh, where is it? Now I'm like...
What's the second reference to those that I've heard in literally less than 10 minutes?
There it is. Okay. So, guys, I just want to let everybody know that there is an event coming up that I've started. It is called Fuck Cancer, right?
No lubrication. No lubrication whatsoever. Doesn't deserve it.
Absolutely. So, on May 27th at 9 p.m., I'm going to be streaming live from Malvern Manor an investigation with myself, Josh Hurd, and 6 other guests. May have one other special guest. We're waiting to hear back. But we're going to be live streaming this. So how do you get the live stream, you might ask? Well, Here's what you can do. This is a fundraiser. A friend of ours had been diagnosed on the second with stage 4 cancer, and she's going to be going through a battle. And we wanted to do something to kind of help her financially because this is going to be a long financial battle as well as a medical battle.
Hmm.
So with this live stream, if you donate $10 or more, you will get a link to a YouTube channel that will have the live stream. Okay, so with a donation to the cause, you'll get a link to the live stream. You can watch the live stream. There'll be some special guests joining us in the live stream. Um, some people that are quote unquote paranormal celebrities. Um, and you get to watch the investigation. You get to participate in the chat. We'll have somebody in chat with you. Um, Also, what's really cool about this is, like I said, there's going to be 6 other people joining us on this. We have 1 ticket sold. There are 5 tickets left for anybody who wants to join myself and Josh Hurd on this investigation. The tickets are $50 per, and all proceeds are going to Susan Long. Um, I can say her name out there. I can put it out there. I've got permission now. Susan Long, which is John Long, who is my tech manager on my paranormal team, and really close friends. They're like family to me, guys. So that's another reason why I really needed to do this. Um, so this event, it's a live stream event, but it's going to be in person for 6 other people. May 27th at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I know this is on a Thursday night, and it's going to be hard for people to stay up for the whole live stream or to even join the investigation. But I think this is worth doing that for. Okay. I will be doing other events in the future for Susan to help alleviate some of the burden. So if you guys want to join in on helping out, after this live here, I will post some links for PayPal and Venmo. Those are 2 ways if you want to donate, you can do so. And then, like, if you donate, if you just want the stream, but you end up donating $50, put that it's for the stream. That way it doesn't get confused and we know what you're donating for or which package you want. Um, and if you want to see more details, also go to the Fuck Cancer um, Facebook event page. You can get more information there. I am going to be putting a video out probably tonight on my regular YouTube channel as well as on Facebook to get the information out there. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to doing this. I haven't been to Malvern in a couple of years, and you know, it's I've been doing a lot of like fundraising for people over the last month, it seems, and this one just really hit close to home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I hate cancer. I've lost several family members and a couple friends to it. It sucks.
my mom had cancer
Oh,
just a couple of years ago, so
yeah.
um,
It's not
she
good.
survived, but it was a long fight. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, guys. I mean, I'll be blasting this all after the show and whatever. I'll be blasting it all the way up until the 27th.
It's a
So
great cause. Susan's
yeah,
such a kind and heart-warming person. She's just amazing.
and if
So
you
for
are
that,
into like crystals and stuff like that, she has a
yeah,
store, Celestial Crystal Healing and Stones. She does crystal sales. She also
yeah,
does healings like energy healing. She also does card readings for people too. So, and she's very fair priced. Like she's not outrageous like a lot of these people are.
dude, no
So
kidding. The psychic profession out there is insane. But I get it. People got to make money somehow.
yeah, yeah, it's
Got to
all
keep
about
up with
them
market
digits.
demands. I
I
mean, keep
just
life going so we can keep doing things. Absolutely. We can't, give and not get anything. It sucks, but that's living in today's life.
that is
Anyways, what are we talking about today, Dave?
well tonight. Okay, so last week we were talking about the Men in Black,
Yes.
and I kind of alluded to, hey, we should do the Mothman, but I've got a little twist for it
Shagway. Anyways.
in reference in conjunction to last week's show.
Yes.
This is something that like the Mothman is talked about. A lot of people know about
Yes.
the Mothman, but we'll
Oh yeah.
still give you guys a rundown of the basics on that. But there's a side story to all this that not a lot of people are familiar with. And that's where it's really going to get interesting. You guys are going to get a good twist in the Men in Black era
Hmm.
with involving the Mothman sightings. So I'm
Looking
really
forward
looking
to
forward
it.
to this.
Me
Yeah,
too. Can't
and
wait to see what you have to hear.
I even learned something on this too, which we'll get into later.
Of course, of course.
So
All right.
let's set this up real quick for
Yeah.
people that do not know. So here's the story of Point Pleasant, and I did a lot of research. I pulled up a lot of
You definitely got a lot more research than I did. I will say.
yeah. I'm just going to kind of go over, uh, in essence, this whole thing, or the introduction for it, and the
Yeah.
first sighting, the very first
Yeah. See,
one.
I was wondering if you were going to do that or not. So there we go.
Okay, so Point Pleasant is a small town situated along the Ohio River. Was originally established as a military fort in 1774. Uh, the events surrounding Point Pleasant began on November 2nd, 1966. At this point, Point Pleasant had grown into a small town of just a few thousand people with a lot of history and the type of place where everybody knew each other. So there's a gentleman by the name of Woodrow Derenberger, and he was traveling. He was a traveling salesman who lived in another town. It was a small town about an hour northwest of Point Pleasant, just north of Point Pleasant. You see. Um, so Point Pleasant lies on the Ohio River, across which Woodrow was working on this particular night. He was driving down Interstate 77 when this mysterious event began to unfold. He claims that at about 7:30 p.m., while traveling home, he was stopped by the bright lights of a car-like vehicle
Hmm.
which hovered inches above the ground. According to Derenberger's testimony, this vehicle passed him on the road before pulling in front and causing him to slam on his brakes.
Mm.
This is where the suspension of disbelief goes out the window for most people. The claims that there exists a human like alien being named Cold, who speaks to Derenberger telepathically, is just too unrealistic to believe. It's something that many ascribe to the time period itself, which was fraught with claims of UFO sightings. I mean, the 60s were like exploding with the UFO phenomenon.
Oh yeah. So it's just perfect time for creepy stuff to start happening.
Yeah. But Derenberger was in full belief of his claims on this, or yeah, and I guess it was a clear November night, so I mean, it's hard to mistake some
Mm.
things like this. He believes that this alien shaped like a man, like a human, named Cold, Cold, visited him and talked for a few minutes before departing, leaving their conversation with the parting words of "We'll be speaking again."
Hmm.
Derenberger noted that this man Cold never broke his smile. So this being was smiling at him the entire time because he was able to speak telepathically. He was always grinning, thus earning him the future moniker of the Grinning Man.
Mm. That's interesting. I didn't know about that story. I just knew about well the married couple. I thought that was the first sighting.
Nope.
Interesting.
I've got some more on this too, a little bit. Just
Okay.
a little bit of background on him too.
Yeah.
So these claims brought his reputation, his name, and even his sanity into question. His claims, however ridiculous sounding, were big news in this small area of the American Northwest or Northeast, and he found himself put in a spotlight for public scrutiny.
Hmm.
Many began to camp outside his house, hiding in trees or in the shadows, hoping to find some trace of these UFOs. Others began to criticize him for losing his mind and threatening to tear apart his family.
What year was this?
1966.
Jeez. Nuts.
People who lived in the area where he claimed to have had this encounter reported similar sightings. None had claimed to encounter the telepath speaking man named Cold, but some had seen bright lights in the sky on the night of November 2nd. These lights supposedly moved far quicker than any man-made craft known at the time, and
Hmm.
seemed to stop and go, occasionally floating in a manner that would seem impossible to this day. Derenberger claimed to communicate with Cold again just days afterwards, but these communications took place solely in Derenberger's mind. Remember, this is a being that's speaking telepathically. He claims that Cold was able to communicate with him despite not being nearby, and he learned some more information about Cold and his home world, which was called Lanulos.
Is that inside Earth? Because that would make a lot of sense.
I don't know. Derenberger would later go on to write a memoir about his encounters with Cold titled Visitors from Lanulos, which would go on to be published in a very limited manner in 1971.
Hmm.
However, Derenberger would spend the rest of his life defending his sanity and his livelihood from claims of insanity. He never claimed anything further, his supposed conversations with Cold drawing to a close in 1966. Unfortunately, these few weeks of fame would cause him to lose his job, his marriage, and even custody of his children.
Wow.
However, despite his entire life falling apart over the next few years, Derenberger would never recant his claims. He personally considered his claims to be his version of the truth, that he had communicated with the Grinning Man, an alien presence he claimed never brought good news.
Mm. I mean, that makes a lot of sense with the tale of Mothman.
It does. And also, if you're, as we're going to be bringing in later, the Men in Black,
True.
because a lot of the times when the Men in Black make the threats, they threaten to destroy your livelihood, they tear your family apart, do stuff to your
Huh.
family. Remember? So
That makes a lot of sense.
was this man visited by the Men in Black?
I mean, if he lost everything in his life, I would almost 100% bet yes.
And his book was only published for a limited time.
Shut it down immediately.
Yep.
Sounds like there was some underground, under the table stuff happening there that nobody knew about.
Little tricky dick.
Yeah, a little bit, something.
Little some. You know what
Man,
I'm saying?
that's a good story. I didn't know about that one. Most of the articles that I read and everything that I went after, it was like, and the night began on November 12th when Clennon died, like, the other city over. And then it was like, and then the other couple. Yeah. I like to talk like the radio person at night. Anyways.
This is the war of the world.
I don't know why, but that's my old radio voice.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I should perfect that and try to roll with it even more.
Yeah, why not?
So the cases that I found, there's, obviously several sightings, hundreds of sightings.
Right.
But obviously, I think there's two super popular ones. The first one would be the two young married couples. So I'm reading off of insider.com, and they put a bunch of the experiences out there. So I'm just going to take my info from that. So 3 days later from one of the original sightings, which was November 12th in Clennon, at Point Pleasant, two young married couples were driving past an abandoned TNT plant near Point Pleasant, described seeing a 6 or 7 feet tall creature with wings folding against its back. So wings were, in.
I wonder if it was like, how a bird's wings would just kind of fold up like this,
I think that's what it would be.
Or if it was like butterfly wings.
Moths, like technically moths' wings do fold. They're not like butterfly wings.
Yeah, I guess they do kind of like
they don't like, they're not constantly just like out there, like, well, obviously the butterflies bring them down, but it's not like there's multiple facets to just make it shrink in, like it compartmentalizes its wings.
Oh yeah.
So it was folded against the back, according to the American hauntings. They sped away once they sighted it, but the creature reappeared on a nearby hillside, then started flying behind the car, which the couple said was driving over 100 miles an hour. Mind you, this is in 1966.
Well, they had cars that could do 100 miles.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it isn't a possibility, but in 1966, road laws weren't like what they used to be. Like, and they're not what they're like today. Sorry, they were different.
I was like, wait a minute. What?
They're 1966. They're not like what they used to be back in the 20s.
Yeah. I hope you're
and
wearing a seatbelt.
heavy metal death traps. The same night, another group of 4 people, along with 2 couples, reported seeing a similar creature to the police. Each group spotted the same creature in at least 2 spots near Point Pleasant, but the creature disappeared upon reaching the city limits. In a town about 90 miles from Point Pleasant, another man reported equally strange occurrences that night. His dog started barking at the barn behind his house. When he went back to the house with a flashlight to check, and spotted 2 red eyes the size of bicycle reflectors. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
The man ran back inside to get his gun, but was too afraid to go back out, and the dog disappeared. Although one of the men who spotted the creature outside the TNT plant said he also spotted a dead dog laying on the side of the road. So was it staying in the TNT plant?
And that's something that a lot of people wonder because that TNT plant was, if I'm remembering correctly, originally was a military base.
Yeah. So military experiment that escaped the further,
Mm.
the other side, the strange lands, the wasteland on the other side, whatever you want to talk about it, the veil.
The veil.
Like, or was it just a government experience? Who
Come
knows?
on, spit it out, would you?
Right? Okay, we gotta know. Please tell us. Anyways, so on November 16th, a press conference was actually held in Point Pleasant to discuss the sightings, and the reporters dubbed the creature the Mothman. Dun, dun, dun. Funny enough. Um, and then I would say the oh shoot, to me the most famous sighting I would is the bridge collapse. So,
Yeah.
people were commuting, doing their thing, and they even made the movie about it, The Mothman Prophecies. If
Yep.
you guys haven't seen it, it's a good psychological
I
thriller.
I love the movie.
I thought it
Honestly,
was great. I
it's
thought
one
it
of my
was
favorites.
yeah, it was fantastically done. I need to go back and watch it. I haven't seen it since I was probably 14, 15, so it's been a while.
Now that movie is based off of the book, The Mothman Prophecies by John Keel, who was one of the
Yes.
people that investigated here.
Yes. Absolutely. That was in the perfect. In the months followed, as legend has it, the Mothman continued to terrorize the residents. One family that lived near the abandoned TNT plant reported seeing a red light in the sky above that plant that they could not identify. After seeing the red light, the mother of the family drove to a neighbor's house. Could have been a UFO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, technically it is a UFO to her, but I mean, like a spacecraft. If it was just one light compared to 2, which is what is the popular what people say. As she got out of her car, a figure who had been lying on the ground next to it stood up. She described it as a gray creature that was bigger than a man with glowing eyes. The woman ran into her neighbor's house, and the creature followed her onto the porch and peered through the window. The police were called, but it vanished before they arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, what if the Mothman was actually a deterrent to keep people away from the TNT planet? Or plant.
Possibly.
Like in this instance.
Well, there's that, but also when it's communicating with people and telling them, "Hey, this bridge is going to collapse," forewarning
Okay,
people.
see, and that's what
It
I'm saying. Like,
forewarns people about
mhm.
impending disaster.
Could that be a different thing though, or could it be the same thing?
We don't know. That's
Like
the thing.
when I say deterrent, I mean it
That's
could
the
be
point.
somebody dressed up like this and trying to keep people away from the
Oh,
plant.
oh, I see.
Like
Yeah,
it's not a like it's a computer generated thing and it's fake. No, it's I I was going from I think what if
hologram.
it was like what if it was a spacesuit? What if
It's a
it was an
hologram.
actual spacesuit that somebody dressed up in or a hologram, whatever. Makes total sense. Project Bluebeam, since the
Yeah,
'60s. No, I mean, what? Yeah, what if it was just what if it was dude was in a modified spacesuit? I'm
that's
sure in the
cool.
'60s, spacesuits today would look really weird.
Oh yeah, I'm
Just
sure.
saying. Just
I'm
saying.
I'm pretty sure about that too.
Right. Like, so I mean, it could make sense that what if it was, but the reason I would think that it's not is because there's so many sightings around the U.S. of the
Or
same pretty much descriptions.
or
Or
could it be an intimidation factor by the Men in Black?
could be because there are reports of the Mothman just poof disappearing.
So one of the main characters in this whole spiel is John Keel, and I didn't mean to
Yes,
rhyme
he
that,
is.
but it just happened to rhyme. Pretty good
Spiel
at
and
that.
Keel.
Spiel and Keel, huh?
Dave can rhyme.
I'm gonna be a rapper now. My next move. So, the despite the best intentions of Point Pleasant, all the stories coming from this area of West Virginia began to attract people from around the nation, and one of them was renowned ufologist John Keel. Now, John was he was at the time he was like a new author,
Okay.
um, and yeah, he was an up and coming writer, but he specialized in writing abstract, abnormal stories. Um, he was a former Army veteran who served in the Korean War. Um, so he had begun to specialize in writing stories about the weird and peculiar. But in the fall of 1966, Keel was actually focusing on the UFO phenomenon that was sweeping the nation.
Hmm.
So while he began to write about these UFO sightings that were happening daily all over the globe, he decided to focus on one hotspot of activity, thus leading him to Point Pleasant. So over the next year, Keel interviewed over 100 witnesses of the Mothman, with all of the supposed sightings occurring in or around the Point Pleasant area. Most of the stories remain the same, that this creature was incredibly large, in the shape of a man with a colossal wingspan, and had large red eyes that either uh, entranced or intimidated to a dangerous degree. So, um, with that kind of introduction to Keel, um, oops, where did I put my? There it is. Haha. They're coming to take me away. Haha.
Coming to take me away. Ha ha. He. Oh, the funny farm. Anyways.
So, anyways, John Keel would stay in the Point Pleasant area for about a year,
Wow.
diving further into the case than he ever could have imagined. Which, I mean, if you're interviewing over 100 people,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of testimony, man.
You are. That's a lot of
Spending a
time.
lot
Yeah.
of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Basically
began to
living there.
yeah. He began to connect the local UFO sightings and the Mothman creature to a number of animal mutilations that had been happening in the surrounding area,
Hmm.
making one of the focal points of his writing. So the dog being killed uh, could have been, I bet, was part
Yeah.
of that animal mutilation.
Yeah. I would definitely say. I mean, it's crazy how
Hey, Kelly, nice to
it's
see you.
it's so crazy uh how much similarities come with other mutilation stories or just
Yeah,
UFO stories, and mutilations are a heavy like part of the history of UFOs, and it's like crazy to think about. Like, is that like I don't know? I always specify what is it? What if it's technology that's like, are they bringing them up and then working on them, or is it more of just zapping it out of them right there?
I
What do
don't
you
know.
think?
I would assume they'd take them up. They'd have to like
Yeah, and then
have a
just
good
drop them
focus
back
on
down.
what they're doing. Um, and even cases like this, the Mothman. Anybody just in passing looking at this story, they're going to see the Mothman and think of the Mothman, and that's it.
Yeah,
Right now, we're
they're not
talking
gonna they're not
about
gonna dive deep into it.
yeah. Right now, we're getting into Mothman and UFOs.
Yes,
All of this and cattle mutilations or animal mutilations
I mean,
were
which
going on at the same time.
I mean, it lines right up with the Men in Black because the Men in Black are always around UFO activity.
Exactly. So in 1967, Keel was also the one who began to popularize the term Men in Black, referring to the
Mm.
alleged government boogeyman that began to visit Point Pleasant. Keel began to take note of weird occurrences happening to himself and others connected to the story. Mailed documents changing overnight, phone lines going dead or being tapped,
Hmm.
UFO witnesses feeling threatened, and etc., etc. He began to attribute these sporadic events to the alleged Men in Black, believing they were trying to silence the story or at least the witnesses. These Men in Black would remain a constant part of the Mothman story, but would become much more relevant later on in the story.
Hmm.
So Keel was the one that really started pointing out all the Men in Black things that were
Yeah.
going on revolving around this, and it gets some of these stories that other people, um, some of these. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just got thrown off real quick. This is John number 2.
Yeah, I feel real good now. Anyways,
How's it going, number 2? So,
number 2.
so anyway,
I am number 2. Anyways.
so Keel spent over a year investigating the incidences, and then he started experiencing not only himself but finding other people were experiencing activities related to the Men in Black. And here shortly, we are going to start getting into some of the stories of the Men in Black. And this is going to take a really creepy turn and open some eyes to the.
Dude, go for it. If that's where you're going, go for it. I'm ready
That's
for
where we're
this.
going. We are going. I hope you buckled
Let's
up.
go. Let's get off the rails. Let's have a good time.
I hope you brought enough to drink for everybody because you're
I
gonna need it.
got 1. I've got 2. I think we're good, right? Yeah. Okay, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. All right. So, despite the bridge collapse marking an end to the Mothman sightings, the town of West Point, the town of Point Pleasant wasn't entirely done with weird happenings.
Mm.
So, this is after the bridge had collapsed and all that stuff. Mary Heyer, who was the reporter for the Athens Messenger, that was now acting as the Point Pleasant correspondent, saw her workload increase drastically in the weeks and months following the bridge collapse. So she got busier because there's a lot of stories then. Originally enticed by the sightings involving the Mothman, Heyer turned her focus to those involving the dancing lights in the sky, which continued even after the bridge collapse. So
Yeah.
the UFO sightings were still happening.
Jeez.
On one weekend, shortly after the bridge tragedy, she recalled getting over 500 phone calls from local citizens who reported seeing these lights in the sky.
Jeez.
But one evening, in January of 1968, weeks after the collapse drew attention to the area, Mary was visited by a strange man in her office. It was late at night, and Mary's office in Point Pleasant in the Point Pleasant courthouse didn't really receive any visitors. This man, who was described as very short, with an oddly shaped, long-haired bowl cut, wore thick glasses,
Uh-oh.
and had what Mary would describe as a hypnotic gaze.
Mm.
The man terrified Mary as he spoke in his low voice full of stutters. He wasn't interested at all in the bridge collapse or the Mothman sightings, but was very interested to finding out who exactly had spotted the lights in the sky.
Mm.
During their brief conversation, this man kept inching closer and closer to Mary, who was beginning to feel very threatened. She called out for her boss just before this man turned to leave. However, he paused and picked up a pen from her desk. Laughing, he kept it and ran out of the office.
What a weirdo. Perfect timing.
I could see it happening like that.
That is mine.
Rumors claim that this same man visited many houses in the area, homes of those that had spotted the lights in the sky. According to these rumors, he made all of them uncomfortable, claiming to be a reporter from Ohio. However, he apparently knew nothing of the Ohio area and just simply disappeared as soon as he had arrived. We can only guess at the identity of this man or whether he even existed, but it goes without saying that this was another weird event that unfolded in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Poof.
So now, before we get further into some of those, I've got a couple more encounters with the Men in Black here. But before we get really into those, I discovered something that I didn't know was a thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Phantom photographers.
Wait, what?
Phantom photographers. Yeah, right?
Elaborate. I need some backstory here.
All right.
Please.
So apparently, there was the phantom photographers who would take photos of witnesses or investigators, often using a camera that had a blindingly bright flash, which could surprise or disorient the person while the stranger ran or drove away. Think of like the movie Men in Black. Please look at this.
Yeah.
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 In October of 1967, a man in Ohio was returning home from work. He opened the door to his apartment to find an intruder standing in his living room. The man said, I think he dressed all in black. I couldn't see his face, but he was about 5'9". I started to fumble for the light switch when he took my picture. There was a big flash of light, so bright I couldn't see a thing. The stranger darted past him and went out the open door. Nothing had been stolen. Yeah.
Hmm.
These photographers would also take pictures of houses after the owner had been witness to something strange. They'd pull up in a black Cadillac, take
Hmm.
out a big tripod and heavy camera, set it up on the tripod, snap a picture of the house, and then put it all back in the car and quickly drive away without ever going up to the door or contacting them. Some would drive up to the house of a witness who had just had a baby and say they were professional photographers who wanted to take pictures. The new parents would be so delighted and agree to have it done. The men would set up their equipment and take pictures, give the people a business card with a neighboring town listed, then drive away and never return to sell them the photographs.
Hmm.
Not only did they visit reporter Mary Heyer and question her about the creature, but one of them is said to have also threatened Mothman witnesses such as Connie Carpenter. A friend of Mary Heyer named Dottie Campbell
Hmm.
spoke on the subject of the MIBs in interviews. So somebody else was already talking about the MIBs. She said that she and Mary were very frightened by them and that Heyer had mentioned to her that these strange men never blinked their eyes.
Hmm.
Mothman witness Linda Scarberry said in an interview, the men in black wore black suits, black hats, and sunglasses. They drove black cars, Cadillacs, I think. They looked like human beings, but their skin was somewhat transparent. You could see the veins in their hands very clearly. Their fingers were longer than a normal person's fingers as well. Daddy shook hands with them, and he said they were awkward in shaking hands. They seemed to not know what to do or how to shake hands.
Okay. Alien.
She said one of the cars would follow us around. There were 3 men in the car. The MIB went so far as to follow us through the drive through of a restaurant. We were afraid to turn around and just looked in the mirror at them.
Yeah.
A man and woman carrying a camera visited Mothman witnesses, Steve and Mary Mallet, wanting to take a picture of them. The Mallets took down the license plate of the Volkswagen, but the police said the number was non existent.
Hmm. Heyo.
I wonder where they get the money to have these Cadillacs.
It's the government that can do whatever they want.
True.
They can make if they can make stuff disappear. What's a few missing from this bank vault?
Yeah. And I mean, why Cadillacs? Why is that the car of choice?
I don't. Cadillacs. I feel like back in the day it was just like
I want to
everyone
be a
owns one.
baller.
Yeah,
Shot caller. Yeah.
yeah. Especially in the '60s, caddies were nice.
Oh, yeah. But you know, like a lot of the times when people experience the Men in Black, the cars are dated even.
They're
They're not like
older.
brand
Yeah,
new vehicles, they're older vehicles. So I wonder if like back then in the 60s, if the Cadillacs they were seeing were like from the 40s or something. If
maybe,
Cadillac was around then, wasn't it? Weren't they?
possibly. Here, hold on. Let me check. Let me check here.
Because that would, I mean, that goes in hand with time travelers.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, they've been around since 1902.
No, what?
Yeah,
The-
Cadillac, Detroit, Michigan, August 22nd, 1902. They're older than GM, GMC, Lincoln. Uh, they're even older than Chrysler, and they're older than freaking Chevrolet.
Damn.
Chevrolet was 1911. And then Dodge, of course, was 1900. So
How did we go from Cadillacs to a Volkswagen? Maybe they were broke.
I don't
Rookies.
know. Rookies, man. I don't get
Rookies
it.
get the worst cars.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Ugh.
So there were several, a lot of Men in Black encounters that happened,
Mhm.
and I'm just going to read through three of them here.
Okay.
Marcella Bennett, in 1966, she was a Mothman witness. Her and her small daughter Tina were driving just outside of Point Pleasant when a red Ford Galaxy. Now that'd be the car to have if you're
An
an
alien.
alien figure.
It's somewhere over in the Ford Galaxy. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's where we're from. Where are you from, Ford?
Mm.
So anyway, somebody in a, but this is what's odd is it's red.
Red? That's kind of
Red.
standoutish.
Yeah, like oh, we won't look so suspicious in this. Actually, it'd probably blend in pretty decent.
With the colors back then, probably.
And being a Ford
Ooh,
Galaxy,
that's a good point. With the colors back in the 60s, when things were in late 60s, where things were starting to get brighter and they were starting to mess around
yeah,
with color play, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Okay.
And that particular car, though, in the '60s, was actually a pretty nice car.
Boom. Government can do what they want.
So anyway, a red Ford Galaxy began to follow her. The
Yeah.
driver was appeared to be wearing a bushy wig. She slowed down for the vehicle to pass her, but instead it tried to force her off the road. She sped up, but the Ford then raced around her and parked sideways on the narrow dirt road, blocking her path. Marcella warned her daughter to hold on as she hit the gas pedal to the floor. The stranger in the red Ford pulled away hastily and allowed her to pass. He's like, "Oh fuck! Don't hit my car! I
Don't
just
hit
had
me.
I just
It's
had
a
this
rental.
detailed."
Yeah, there you go.
She had never seen the man before and never saw him again.
Hmm. Probably didn't get as bright of a car.
He's like, "I'm not gonna do this one again." You know what? It's a good thing I didn't have one of those Cadillacs. I got rock chips on the side of it. All right. So Connie Carpenter, um, at 8:15 a.m. That's way too early for anybody. On
Yeah.
February 22nd, 1967, Connie Carpenter was walking to school when a black 1949 Buick pulled up alongside her.
Beautiful car.
At least they got the time travel year kind of thing going on
Yeah.
there. They got a nice car and it was black. Anyway, pulled up alongside her. The driver opened his door and asked her for directions. Does he not know how to work a window?
Uh, good point. That's a very good. Maybe it was quicker access. She couldn't like.
Unless he was going to kidnap her. Like that was an option there. Like, hey, if
Maybe
she screams or runs, you
you have to
freaking
grab her. You have to grab her.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah.
He seemed to be a clean-cut young man of about 25 or so, with thick, neatly combed black hair and a deep suntan. So this is not your typical Men in Black person.
No.
When Connie got closer to the vehicle, the stranger suddenly ordered her to get in and grabbed her by the arm,
Kidnapping her. Boom.
trying to pull her into his car. She managed to get away, and the sleeve of her blouse was ripped in the process.
Oh man.
He was like, "Oh, I'm not driving this car again."
Nope.
She ran back to her house and locked herself in. The next day, a threatening note was slipped under her door reading, "Be careful, girl. I can get you yet."
Chills. Chills.
And last
Nope.
but not least, John Keel's experience with the Men in Black.
Mm.
For for those of you that might just be catching this, John Keel is the one that wrote the Mothman prophecies that became the movie,
Yes.
and he also was there in Point Pleasant for like a year, investigating the UFOs and Mothman and all this, and started coming across the Men in Black. So John Keel would chase, and every time I say his name, I always think of Richard Greer. So
Huh.
John Keel would chase the Men in Black in an attempt to confront them. He had the local police in many towns looking for them. When he was in West Virginia and in Ohio, people would call his hotel and tell them that the MIB were there. He'd race over to the location, but they would be gone by the time he arrived. John Keel said that the MIB were mainly reported to drive black Cadillacs until he started doing articles about the MIB driving these cars, at which point they are said to have switched to Volkswagens. There's your answer, Kelly. There's your answer. How do we go from Cadillacs to Volkswagens? It's all John Keel's fault. The cars they would drive often had license plates that never have been issued to anyone. The mysterious blonde woman in her 30s, or a mysterious blonde woman in her 30s with a southern accent, visited people in West Virginia and Ohio whom Keel had interviewed. She even visited those he had not mentioned in print. She introduced herself claiming to be John Keel's secretary. Wow, wow. You sending nudes?
Yeah, 100%. Because I've got time for that.
I just got them.
I see you just got my. Okay, cool, good.
I just
Make sure to save that for the next podcast.
Oh, I thought you wanted it for the intro.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 100%. That's what I meant, Dave.
Next time on Boogeyman Radio. Boogie, boogie, boogie.
Oh God, that's true nightmares right there.
You think I'm whitewashed?
Oh man. Oh.
That is a cute top, though.
It is. It is. I picked it out myself. Yeah. Is in the pink section for men.
All right. So this mysterious blonde woman shows up in
right.
West Virginia and Ohio, talking to people that Keel had interviewed. But then she starts talking to people also who he had not mentioned in print.
Seriously?
Seriously. So she knows.
Okay.
And again, she started introducing herself to people as John Keel's secretary.
Maybe the FBI?
How did this guy die? We can find out here pretty quick.
Yeah.
Let me get through this and we'll figure that out. I know Mary, the one chick, she had some things that some mysterious stuff happened to her all the way up to her death. She died mysteriously. So anyway, so the clipboard that this lady carried held a complicated form filled with personal questions about the witnesses' health, income, and the type of cars they owned, as well as their general family background, and some fairly sophisticated questions about their UFO sightings.
Like, who needs to know all this?
People that are looking for abductees.
Boom.
I mean,
Boom.
if you want to pick out the perfect specimens, get their history, their health history, their family's health history.
True. That's a good point. It's a very good point. Very good point.
So John Keel didn't learn about this woman until months later, when one of his friends in Ohio wrote to him and happened to mention her. One afternoon in spring of 1967, John Keel and a female friend were walking along 42nd and 3rd Avenue in New York when a stranger with a pointed face deliberately took a photo of them and turned away and ran. The man was wearing a poorly fitting sports jacket and slacks. Phantom photographers.
I was going to say, do we really think that it's actual? Like,
if he ran away going,
yeah, that's
I mean, like,
yeah, that's 100% just classic. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm going to associate the Men in Black with that little silly laugh. Like
good job, Dave.
Or something.
Good job.
Did you intimidate her? Did you threaten her? I sure did. What'd you do? I took her pen.
I sneakily took a pin.
I wrote her a letter and I shoved it out of the door and she thought it was me.
But guys, this is what I did next. Anyways, they're all cracking
Yeah,
up
well,
on each
you
other's
think you're
jokes.
so tough? What'd you do? I tried to kidnap her. Well, you didn't steal a pen, did you? You got part of her sleeve. I got a pen. Who wins?
Which one's more useful?
This guy.
Right? Just a bunch of Mothman like, hey, what did you do to mess with people today?
Oh, just intimidated witnesses. Kind of standard.
Just stood around, didn't say anything, and watched a bridge collapse and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, and then I just stared at him with a blank stare.
And then flew away when I thought it got boring. And yeah,
what if
same
it's
thing
like
with the Twin Towers.
What if it's like a reality show from the future?
Oh man.
Okay, like in Practical Jokers. Okay, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stare at these people with a blank stare.
I want you to start getting real angry, and I want you to put a coin in their hand and tell them it's gonna vanish, and then they could do that to you. We can make your heart do that. Just mess with them. It'll be a perfect prank.
Gotta create that meme now. All right, now tell them you're gonna kill them and you're gonna make their heart explode.
That is a good one. That's gonna be a classic.
So Kelly says all Wikipedia says is he died in New York City in 2009 at the age of 79.
Looks like he lived a full life.
You know what? Let's see this.
I'm curious though if later in his life got better after a while. Like, maybe he found somebody who believed him, like wife-wise or a companion of some sort. Blam.
Let's see if this tells me.
Mm.
It doesn't say in that. It says it.
No.
Let's see. Oh, that's a Amazon link. IMDb is still up. These are all about his books.
I was gonna say, I was like, I wonder what it would be because I didn't think he was in any of his stuff or in any movie stuff. I mean, maybe he made an appearance in the Mothman prophecies. It'd make a lot of sense. But yeah, man, that's.
See, this is why I hate using I hate using Google to do all this stuff because like Google will not tell you straight up the answer you're looking for.
That's why I don't use Google. Don't like them.
Obituaries.
I do DuckDuckGo.
Congestive heart failure.
He was poisoned at 79. I'm kidding. I'd say he lived a life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If he stuck to his gumption and never took back his claims and kept forward with it with all the stories that he took down from people, hell yeah, live that life.
Yeah.
He's what people would call him crazy, a conspiracy theorist. Well, if over 100 people had occurrences, there's got to be something based off truth there.
There has to be truth to it.
Something. I can maybe see some of the experiment, some of the cases could have been people trying to mess with people. I don't know. You never know. But to the extent of it flying and the screeches and sounds that it would make, there's no way.
What if there was no Mothman?
Okay. What do you think? Alien?
And what if this was no, I'll still say it's an alien.
Okay.
But what if this is something working with our own government?
Well, that was one of the other things I was alluding to earlier. Is if it is working with the government, it could have been trying to deter people from that TNT plant.
Yeah,
it was like a defense.
And then you look at 9/11,
right?
Which I still say, I'm not going to talk about the inside job or anything, but the way that it came down, what I had to be a high amount of energy that impacted that building that caused the collapse. And if you look into the death ray,
Yeah, and
And
I've got one simple thing to say too, and it completely destroys the narrative.
of the death ray, or
No, of the collapse.
what's that? Boogie boards.
The fuel they use for that airplane doesn't burn hot enough to burn the
Yeah, I know.
steel. It doesn't cut perfectly diagonally like a controlled demolition would. I mean, what? Did I just
No, because that stuff was
somebody
actually painted on.
right?
This
Like,
this was planned a long time ago.
anyways. Also, why did the explosions happen floors farther down than where the plane was initially hitting contact? Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Why did you see windows already exploding right as the plane hits? No, it's not going to go straight down and then out that one specific. No, sorry, that's no. Anyways,
But the Mothman has been sighted all over the place. I mean,
yeah,
I think.
there's so many different occurrences all around.
Yep.
It almost reminds me of like the man, the lights into the light, your
Oh,
spook
the spook
lights.
lights.
Like spook lights are everywhere.
Yeah,
Like, well, I wouldn't say everywhere, but I
I would.
there's a lot of places that have them, and like a gravity hill of some sort where, like,
Yeah, Gravity Hill. There seems to be one in like every county,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
it? I mean,
yeah, it's where the local kids would go to get themselves spooked.
to get their rocks off.
Yeah, exactly. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Now, I would have. Well, she might not have heard what we said earlier about his life was ruined. He lost didn't wasn't this the guy that lost everything?
No.
Oh,
That
that
was
was the
the
other
other.
guy. That was the witness. That was the witness. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind. Sorry. Well, I mean, maybe they just thought of him as a crackpot. Maybe they were like, oh, people won't believe him.
Well, I know there's going to be a lot of people that probably would be like that, where it's like, oh, it's just making crap up and
Yeah.
adding to the stories and stuff like that.
Yep.
And because he was a writer, he was a fictional writer.
Yeah, and he had to sell something.
Mm-hmm. And
Like
something to
if
do so.
you it's almost like, so for them back in the day, a writer coming out with stories like that, they're going to view it as if someone saw the movie today.
Yeah.
Like if someone made the movie as in like actual, if they made it as an actual truth or whatever and showed it today, people would think they're crazy.
Yeah. It's like nowadays when they show movies and they base it upon a true story or true events, I mean,
There's
it's
so
loosely
much,
based. Like there's maybe
very
a few
loosely based,
things,
very
but
loosely based.
there's a couple movies I really wish like they were pretty damn factual about it. I wish they
Yeah.
would be. Like The Fourth Kind.
Oh God, I love that movie.
Yeah.
If that was actually factual, holy
Like 100%
bejeez.
factual, yeah.
Yeah, like the footage with the alien possession
Yeah, where
thing,
he's like lifting up like
all of them, and like just the things that they say, like it's almost like the ETs are what you think it is the ETs are possessing people and channeling through them,
yeah.
and one even goes, "I am God," and it's just like, whoa,
Yeah. But
whoa,
what I thought was cool about that movie was they started throwing it back to the
yeah,
Sumerians.
with the Anunnaki and stuff like that.
Yeah. I thought
Yep,
that was cool.
I did too. That's what I was saying. Like that whole narrative down that way, I was like, wow, that's a pretty good move for that movie.
Yeah, especially since
And
nobody really talks about ancient Sumeria.
right, right, isn't that funny?
Why is it
Nobody
never
wants to
brought
talk.
up in anything?
Right. It can't. Oh, it can't be true. No, there's no way. This crackpot Zacharias Stitch. There's no. I don't know. Makes a lot of very good, valid points.
You know, John and I, when we were doing paranormal frequencies, we did a show on ancient technologies,
Mm-hmm.
and the Sumerians very
Yeah.
advanced.
Yeah.
They started math.
Yeah.
They created math. That's the universal language right there.
Yeah.
How do they create? How do they know to do that?
Who
Yeah,
knows?
they did waterways. They had like the channels, water channels, and stuff like that.
Roads. I think
Man,
they have plumbing too.
yeah, that goes
Like,
with the water channeling.
okay, that's fair. No,
Um,
they were very advanced, and then all of a sudden, their gods, their beings,
yeah,
just poof, gone,
yeah. So what
disappeared.
happened?
right?
Sometimes I wonder if ancient Samaria wasn't Atlantis.
I've often thought that too, and they just all disappeared with them, like just
They
gone.
took off on the ship.
Yeah. Well, so my thinking, so what happened? You have the whole thing. It was like they were refugees. These aliens were seeking a planet to like escape to or whatever. And I guess we could really say this for a podcast, but yeah, I always thought it was interesting. They came down, did some different things, helped further along maybe, but it's just that whole storyline of the Anunnaki is just very interesting. I find it very interesting.
You better be careful what you say on the show, buddy. We're gonna get visited by the Men in Black.
Hey, you yourself said you wanted to be visited by the Men in Black, so
I do, but I don't know if you do.
well,
Is that weird that I want to be visited by the Men in
no,
Black?
I think it'd be cool. But I will say, I don't know if a lot of people know this. It's either Machu Picchu. No, not Machu Picchu. Which one's Machu Picchu?
Machu Picchu, isn't that the? No, that's the that Easter Island.
No, not Machu Picchu. Okay.
That's the.
Um, man, I can't think of the location, and I haven't thought about this place in a long time. But so there was
Talk
this
about.
location, huh?
Are you gonna talk about the place in Peru?
No, not the one in the mountains. Not the
Okay.
one like in mountains. So I can't believe I can't think of
Machu
this place.
Picchu is also in Peru.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, so they went to this place and they took a really good look at some of the buildings that were there, and they were glassed over. Some of the sections were like glassed over instead of like
Okay.
sand particles.
Yeah.
And they took a Geiger counter and they were getting traces of radiation from the place. And
Yep.
in this area, they said that there was big wars that happened in the sky, and those gods would use insane weapons.
Wasn't this in India
I can't remember. I know India has a very similar story. Yes,
with Vimanas and stuff like that?
yes, but it wasn't necessarily. I know because it was on Ancient Aliens for a while, but this was a different thing.
Or is this
But I
something
know
that's in
India
Europe?
has. Well, it's crazy. You have different kinds of cultures throughout history depicting sky wars between different
Yeah.
beings. So come on, like that's got it. That's some interesting stuff.
I mean, there's ancient paintings about with
Yeah,
aliens and stuff like that. Now, in regard to Point Pleasant and the bridge collapse, some of these sightings, it makes me wonder. Like they said, they seen these glowing eyes and stuff like
yeah,
that. But what if those were just like lights from a craft?
it's
Like
very possible.
if they seen a winged creature. I mean, could it be some kind of
A
spacesuit,
UFO.
or could it
That's
be
what.
like biological
Yeah, that. Well, I mean, did they have lights like that back then, though?
red lights?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, like that. They weren't really blinking, though,
red
were they?
lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and these were solid. They weren't really blinking. The Mothman.
Well, I mean, they can make solid lights too.
That's true. I mean, they could have also seen UFOs.
I
That's
mean,
it's.
we had lights in the early 1900s,
Yeah, that's fair.
early 1800s, or late
That's fair.
1800s.
That's fair. I just. I don't know. It could be. It's very, very big possible. But I feel like you would have sounds with that, though. But I guess with the car, you wouldn't be able to really tell because if you're flying down the highway going 100 miles an hour,
Well, you also have other people's encounters like throughout time where they see a UFO or they see a craft and there's no sound.
good point.
Yep.
That's what. Yeah, it could be a UFO. Like it could be a governmental UFO. If that place was the TNT plant, if that was a government facility, then it is very it's a very big possibility that that's what that was. Could have been a drone. Never know from the 60s.
Maybe spy drones.
Dude, crazy stuff. Crazy.
So I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I've been thinking about making another short film,
Oh, really?
but not like something that's going to be a minute long, but something that's
Okay.
going to be like 5 to 10,
Okay.
and maybe longer. I don't know. but it has to do with abductions.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've been plotting this in my head, and yeah, I really want to shoot something like that. I think it'd be
Do
cool.
it. Like a 5 minute video, 10 minute video.
Yeah, because you know what? A lot of these people on YouTube, they make these short films or whatever, like the movie Lights Out.
Yeah.
That the guy that made that movie, he made a short film with his wife. That it's like a minute and a half. In fact, let me do this.
Pull up the trailer. Gonna react to it.
I'll pull up the short film.
Okay. Never mind. Yeah, that's because it is a short film. Is it gonna be copyrighted?
No,
Okay.
no.
If you say so.
Every day. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear the audio too well on it, but like you'll recognize the short film. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share my
Screen share.
screen.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Share. All right. Let's see. There we go. So this is the short film. It is 2 minutes 41 seconds, and you can see like, yeah.
Got a lot of backings. Holy cow.
I hope you guys can hear the audio on this too.
It's raining.
Homemade film.
I like it. Oh, I've seen this one. Yeah. This is good.
His sounds on this are really good.
Yeah, they are. Oh, man. I've been there before.
The silence.
Dude, it's so deafening. Oh, man. Oh, fuck that shit. I hate it. That was good.
Yes.
That was good.
Yes.
That was good.
Um.
That was a good one. There's something about like white eyes and a crazy face that just is like, I feel like buried in everybody's psyche. If they see it, it's just like, that's scary.
Well, if you get a glimpse at a face for like just 2 seconds, where you don't have enough time to ingest like what you just saw, you still get that imprint of like the eyes and the mouth, the
Yeah,
smile on the face, and
that's what I saw in the hallway at Belvoir Winery one night when I was doing a tour. It's friggin' nuts.
like that face.
No, like a face like that where like flashed for a second and I saw it and it scared the crap out of me.
Hmm.
It was weird. It was like pure white too, like everything.
I still want to investigate there.
It is an amazing location to investigate.
I
We didn't really get much from the main building because there was like stuff going on, but dude, other sections of that place, wow. Wow.
Kelly.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so that guy, after that blew up on the internet, and that guy ended up getting contacted by a production company. They threw a couple $1,000,000 his way to make that into a film.
Nice.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of sense.
and there is now a feature film called Lights Out that
Did
he created.
did he get to write it?
Yeah,
Good. Good.
he got to write it. He got to be the producer, director, everything. And
I mean,
then
that's a great way to, instead of just coming up with a script, you have like a bit of story right there.
yeah, and then I guess after that, he started working in film on other films and stuff. Like he's made some really
Nice.
big films. So that's one way to get your start in show business, I guess. Make a short
Yeah.
film and let it blow up.
Yeah. Absolutely. The weird, strange offset. Have you ever had those times where like you'll be like partially asleep or you'll be fully asleep, and you just get this really bad feeling that something's by you, something's close.
Something's watching you.
Oh yeah, you just get this like it's it's almost like a chill, but through your whole entire body. But your body doesn't react to it like a physical react. You just feel it pulsing through you, and it's like, whoa, something feel. I hate it when that happens, man. Ugh. And it doesn't happen all the time. It's just like random feelings, random times. You get an overwhelming sense of not good.
I just had a really good idea for a scene. Anyway,
Yeah,
no, I really want to shoot this. I might actually talk to John about it tonight
do it,
when we're done here.
do it,
Maybe film something tonight.
do it. If you got ideas flowing, do it.
It's going to take a long time to film this, but yeah,
I've got a very, very, very similar, like, it was nuts. One of my ghost experiences was, she was like, the thing that I saw was like this close to my face. It was freaking insane.
I've never had anything that close. I've seen a face down in a basement once. Like I turned around and seen it,
Yeah,
and I turned back around in disbelief. I'm like, wait a minute, what the?
yeah,
And I
like,
turned around and it was gone. But yeah, outside of that, the only time I've ever seen really anything like a physical manifestation was like at for our schoolhouse.
okay.
I watched like the bottom, like the calf down.
Oof,
I saw the foot go into a doorway,
nice.
and it was like a little kid going into
Oh
a doorway.
man, that's pretty cool.
And then,
Ugh.
like moments later, John's seen it, the same thing, wearing the same thing on the second floor of the building.
You guys
So
didn't know about it, did you?
no,
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, because I went up there and I started
That's
telling him about it. He's like, he just started shaking his head, laughing. I'm like, what? He's like, I just saw the same damn thing up here. I'm like, no. I was like, what it looked like, and then he described it: blue jeans, gray shoe.
Wow,
That was it.
that's pretty awesome. That's
Yep,
really, those investigations make everything worth it.
absolutely.
Oh man, I haven't
All
had
right,
one
we
of
need
those
to
in a
pick
long
our
time.
topic for next week.
We do. Okay. What are your feelings telling you? It's wrong paper, but we'll go with it. Let's see here.
That's not it, but we'll still read it.
Mm, Vril. I don't know. I can't remember which one that one was.
The Vril Society.
Yeah.
It's the Nazi Germany.
Mm,
Secrets of the Vril.
interesting. Is this like? You just said Nazi Germany, so I was like, is this 1942s or 40s Germany? Yes, that's
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Duh. Yeah.
Let's see.
Un momento, por favor.
I think we should do something with hauntings.
I was thinking the same thing. I got to find my darn right paper here. Sorry, people. All right. Hauntings wise, we were going to save Lizzie Borden for October.
Yes.
I remember that.
Lizzie Borden will be October. We'll call it Loptober because she.
You want to do?
Yeah.
You You want to do like paranormal occurrences around movies?
Okay.
Like, do you want to do something like that, or more like a
Yeah, that's
case,
cool.
or
That's cool because
like
I got a wicked one for you.
cool?
I
Yeah,
got a
Bean, and
I got a wicked one.
I want to make sure, obviously, not to talk about ones that you want to talk about. So,
Well, I mean, we'll keep in touch about it. Cause
okay.
I'm sure like the stuff around the Exorcist will come up.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be definitely that's
Um,
Poltergeist.
do you know about the film that guy found in the dumpster? That okay, you don't.
Nope.
All right, so
No, we can even we can talk about short films and like anything that like when people we can even talk about creepy pastas where like someone watches this and has a paranormal occurrence with it. I don't care. We can do anything like that. We don't have to do just movies, but just
right. Yeah,
paranormal stuff around either filming of movies or films themselves.
paranormal movie or
Paranormal
paranormal films.
media.
There we go. Paramedia.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Paramedia.inc.
I'm pretty good at these. I'm just saying.
Paramedia.inc. That should be a thing eventually.
I'm sure it is.
You think so? I don't know, dude.
Somebody
I've
has.
never heard of Paramedia.
Somebody has to have
I,
that.
mm,
I'm gonna look that shit up.
yeah, you look it up and tell me because I'm really curious now.
Paramedia. Yep. Paramedia.net.
Darn. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It's a good.
They have a
It's a good
YouTube
one
channel
though.
too.
It's a good one.
Paramedia Group.
Oh, nice.
Parasocial interaction. Okay. Parmar. That's just lazy. Like, well, the Paramedia's taken. We'll just do a Parmar.
Parma.
Parmar.
Parma.
Sounds like a brand of cigarettes you find in Mexico.
It's like the guy that says Parma, but Parma.
Parmar. Palmals, please. Parmar.
Palmals, yeah. Palmals, a good
Palmals.
one.
Parmar.
Parma. Parma.
Parmar.
All right, so paranormal occurrences around videos. We got anything else for my friend?
Nope. Just going to remind everybody once again
Yes.
about something that is near and dear to us. On the 27th of May, I will be investigating Malvern Manor with my friend Josh Hurd. And this is a live stream fundraising event. So basically, in a nutshell, a really good friend of mine, Susan Long, who, if you know John Long, who was my co host on Paranormal Frequencies, also is my tech manager and cohort in Haunting History. His wife, Susan, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer on May 2nd. And it's going to be a battle, not just medically, but financially for them because she is going to be going through chemo and her insurance is not covering everything. And one of the things I found out was like, there for a while, like she had to have some fluids drained from her and she has to keep going back to get the fluids drained and all that. And it costs $800 each time she does that. So,
Jeez.
yeah. So, with that being said, this event called Fuck Cancer, because why not?
Dang straight.
Um, it's a live event which we are selling tickets to. You can join Josh and myself on an investigation of Malvern Manor. We have 5 tickets left. They are $50 a piece. I will leave a link in the description of this video after we've gone off air and everything. I'll drop it in there. Where you can send your donation. If you want to send more than 50, that's fine. Any donations, just post in there what it's for. We are also going to be live streaming this event, but it's not like a free live stream. Okay. With a $10 donation, you will get a link to another YouTube channel in which you will be able to watch the live stream when it is happening at 9 p.m. And we are going to go all night on that. We will have special guests with us, guests in the live stream. We'll probably have some special guests in the chat to chat with you as well or answer any questions. And they are also going to participate in the investigation via live stream. So, some fun things that we're going to try to do. This event in particular is the first one I've set up. I will probably do some more in the future. I've yet to talk to a couple people, but I know of a couple places I could probably do this at. It's just a matter of actually communicating with those people. But Again, if you want tickets, it's $50 a person. For the live stream, it's a $10 donation or more. We'll get you the link. Just make sure whenever you do send your donation, you let us know which it is for, the investigation or the live stream. Um, so all proceeds will go to Susan Long and John Long, and Susan has been
Mm,
like a second mother to me. She's an amazing person, very hospitable, very kind,
yeah.
warming, like a beautiful person. And it sucks for this to happen. Thank you, Kelly. Um, but yeah, I will be. There's also a an event set up on Facebook where you can get more information. Just look for the fuck cancer, the F asterisk CK,
Exactly.
because you can't really put the
Yeah, I
full
know.
word out there.
It's the world's too sensitive.
Yep. But yeah, that's all I've got here. You got anything you want to add there,
No,
Charles?
I think it was great. Tonight was a fun show. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well,
Everybody, have a
ghosts and movies
wonderful night.
next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care,
Hey, guess
everybody.
what? Phantom photography. We're out.